Hey guys, how you doing, man?
How's it going, Darren? Eric, how you guys doing today?
Yeah, maybe we'll
Pretty
start
good.
first. Actually, how you guys feeling? And what if you want to just talk a little bit about it. Here's Josh. Okay, let's see. Hold up.
I
Back.
can't see the screen either, so I'm doing this literally without seeing anything on my phone. I'm doing this literally with audio only. I could get no audio, I couldn't get any connection on my computer, any cell phone or internet connection, and I can't see the screen here. So, I'm doing this like looking at a black screen.
Yeah,
So
and
I don't.
it's not
Yeah.
pushing out to my channel either. So
Yeah. All right, guys. Have fun. See you guys.
all right, Josh.
Okay.
Oh, so it wasn't even like sharing out to his YouTube channel?
That's not even sharing out to mine.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I wonder if it's doing mine. Even let me just check.
I think it's sharing to Josh's though. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see if it stays on Josh's. Actually, it is on Josh's. How fun.
That's fun. That's
Naturally.
No,
Yeah.
it's his.
Is it you think it's it has nothing to do with Restream, right?
Who knows?
Yeah, well, you know what happened yesterday, which was really interesting, which I've never ever seen happen, which I think is like a sign of what's actually beginning to happen. Zoom had a massive outage yesterday. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but yeah, they were like literally down, completely down for I don't know how many hours. Well, I was on my breathwork training and it worked, but then I got an email from a community that I'm in, and she goes, "There's a global outage with Zoom." And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I haven't seen that ever happen, so that's maybe it's,
That's crazy.
yeah, I haven't heard nothing like that. Yeah, I see people are joining. Like my channel must be streaming.
Josh's channel is still streaming.
Let me see if I could see. Well, you say yours isn't, but let me see if I could see it.
Well, I was gonna say welcome in everyone, and if you guys would like, we can start going through each other and talking about like what we do and what we offer.
Still streaming. Just let me just mention, Victor, you're streaming on my phone. Like I see.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, you're live on my phone.
Maybe just took a minute.
Yeah, because yeah, I'm on. It says live.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Yeah, it says you're live.
Silly stuff. Hey, DB, great. Thank you for coming by, Dana, Bath Maven, Bonnie, Millie, Lindsay. Good to see you all. Thank you. Hey, if you want to go first, Eric, you seem to be the one ready. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, I mostly do like Reiki. What else? I'm blanking on what the term is. Channeling. There we go. So yeah, you can go to my. I don't think I have it on my YouTube channel, but at least on TikTok, I'm Astral Engineer 88. Same with Instagram. And then I've got my link on TikTok for a Calendly, so you can, if you would like, schedule me for a Reiki session, an energetic healing. I do channelings, all that stuff, and then looking to do other stuff along those lines in the future. If you're in the Chicago area, I'm working with the Full Moon Jam, which every full moon they host a big fire performing and like dance and drum session in a park in the Chicago area. And I'm working with a couple of other Reiki healers and witch covens in the area to do a giant group energetic healing for Chicago area and for anybody at the at those full moon jams. So keep an eye out for that in the coming months.
cool.
That's really cool, dude.
Thanks.
And you know what? And mention one other thing, Eric, because you should tell everybody about your invention and that you have it. It's up for sale on Etsy. You know.
Oh, sure, yeah. I made a based on principles in electromagnetism. I created a little like hand device for Reiki or energy healing practitioners
Hmm.
that is designed to act as a step up transformer to basically increase the like amplitude or the frequencies of like Reiki healings for your hands. I've also when I was creating the devices, I basically had them like on my different chakras and would just like meditate with those, and I just completely zoned out because of how powerful how powerful it amplified everything.
Wow.
So yeah, I've got that as well. And then last year I published a book on consciousness and technology. So I've got that on Kindle as well.
Oh, that's really cool.
There's
did you-
Eric's device right here.
Yeah.
Oh, copper as well.
Yeah, and you put
Yep.
it on your hand like that, you know. Well,
Huh.
I unloosen the strap, but you know what I mean. You know, and you can slide it further down. You know.
Now, did you take measurements off of this device to see what the different strength was, or any? Were you able to gather any data?
I have not yet, but based on my calculations, based on just the rough equations that I was doing, it should increase like the base, like EM electromagnetic frequencies coming out of the body by several orders of magnitude.
Awesome. So, if your calculations are correct, when this thing
Yes.
hits, no, sorry,
No, go for it.
no, that's I was quoting Doc Brown.
Oh,
Missed an
yeah.
opportunity there to say if my calculations are correct. That's really cool, man. I'll have to check that out. And
Yeah,
can you put
thank
that
you.
link? Can you put that link in the chat, Eric?
Uh,
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I think it. Well. Yeah. I think Eric may be able to because I know it's on Etsy. I think it's the same as his name, right? Eric, you said Astral Engineer on Etsy.
yeah,
Oh,
give me a
okay.
moment.
Hey, Dale, it's good to see you, brother.
Yeah. If you want to go ahead, Victor.
Okay.
and Last, if you want.
My name is Victor. I'm the host of a twice daily energetic meditation experience over at Truth Wave Energy Meditation on YouTube. And we come together, as I said, twice daily. We have a wonderful community, absolutely amazing community. And I like to say we work on the people and then the planet. So we work on the people and the planet. So we come and we exercise our energetic intuition, grow in our energy, our understanding. Excuse me, our understanding of energy, and we really put some emphasis on removing the barriers of our growth, and then we push out wonderful energy twice a day to the planet and beyond. And I do have some numerology sprinkled within there. We have a lot of 3s and 6s, and I don't know if even people listening to me right now realize that, but there's a lot. There's some of that put in there as well, because I love those Tesla numbers, 369. And what else can I say about it? That's wonderful. And here's a little note, we've had consistent energy put out every 12 hours since October 31st of last year. So twice a day.
Wow.
Thank you, Jack Walls.
Yeah. Yeah, and Eric posted the Etsy or his link tree actually. So if anybody wants to
Oh,
you
cool.
know, yeah, check out his Reiki, you know, what I just showed you guys, what he just explained. Go to his link tree, right, Eric?
Yes.
Yeah, and then I posted Eric's YouTube channel, so everybody get over there and follow him so you can get over 50 subscribers so you can go live on his channel. And follow Truth Waves. I posted his in there as well above at some point. If you scroll up, you'll see it, his channel as well. So yeah,
No, you don't need 50 to go live on YouTube.
No,
I start going live with 5 or 6.
really? So they changed it. Okay.
Well, that was a year ago. It was July of
So
last
then-
year.
To be able to add it then, Eric, to the restream then, if you haven't been.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, never mind then. Well, they changed it. It used to be 50, all right? Like, I guess when I did like a year ago, it was like 50. They wouldn't let me go live. Or at least on my other, my other channel I did have, which I'm streaming on, I think now I added it. Anyways, so like me and Luna have created Rip Into Light, the newer school, which is, you know, this school that helps humanity essentially, because I know that I'm here and she's here to like assist humanity in remembering who they are. And I keep getting it when I channel the divine, and it keeps coming through that they're here and I'm here to assist humanity in remembering who they are, why they're here, and what they came here to do. And it's like one of the biggest things I feel like that I was searching for, you know, for the longest time. And not only do I do that, but I do breathwork facilitation. We do Kundalini activations. We're going to be doing, which I have not announced yet, but we are going to be doing a 6-week trial thing with breathwork. I think the end of April. So I'm going to be looking for people. So just stay tuned, you know, that are going to be in this trial thing. Also, we do crystalline soul healing. And we have all these different, again, crystalline soul healing works with the higher self. It's a alchemical template that it was brought down by the Lyrans to a woman named Jamie Price. And we do Kundalini activation groups, and our main thing is like the kids, to assist kids and to get these things implemented so they learn it at a young age, you know, like breath work and learning how to breathe properly, and maybe emotional regulation. And, you know, because my thing is like, if I feel like if I would have learned that stuff when I was a kid, man, I would have had a whole different path, you know, and I would have been more in my power and more strong. But I understand, which I kind of feel like I have a topic for today, you guys, which is going to segue into that. If you guys want to, anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a great topic. Yeah, we can go into your topic. There's one thing I would like to mention before you get in your topic, though.
Okay, no,
it's kind of a general question. So whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm gonna just so basically, you know, we channel. We have a Patreon. If anybody wants to join the Patreon, we do like a bunch of events in Patreon. We're building a like-minded community in there, and and just want to bring people together and help one another to remember who they are and remember the gifts and abilities they have. And it takes, just like breath work with channeling, with anything else, where we're at right now, which I believe is shifting, because I believe, which we'll get into. But I believe with a little bit of practice, everybody can like enhance their visualization skills and their channeling skills and connecting with spirit and their higher selves and all these different things, you know. But again, we've been suppressed and taught that it's not real, and it's, you're crazy if you do something like that, or whatever the case may be. So we've suppressed all that stuff. So now we have to kind of, focus on building those muscles. So anyways, we do a whole host of things in the newer school, and we hope to really get out there. I know that I'm supposed to reach globally, and so is Luna, and get my messages and the things I know out to the world, you know. So anyways, that's part of some of what we do, you know.
Cool.
I know it's a lot. And I want to just mention one other thing, man. I'm sorry. I got to just mention one other thing, because I vowed to say I'm going to do this every time. If anybody, man, like, we need help. Like, I'm saying we need help, and we put an application on the website to even barter and do energy exchanges with people. But if people know how to do like Wix and Canva and CapCut and YouTube and editing and all this kind of stuff, like, we have so many things we want to do, and we want to get back to like going live and doing. I love content creating. I love bringing this stuff to everybody, but it's like,
sure,
there's so much stuff to do. And even I would love if anybody has like really loves doing this stuff to reach out to us, because we're looking to we're looking for some people, you know, that can help us. Obviously, if it requires paying, we're going to do that. You know, if we can work out something with an energy exchange, that's fine too.
Cool.
Yeah, if anybody knows these different things, man, reach out to us at darrenandluna@gmail.com, or on TikTok it's at Darren and Luna, or on Instagram at Darren and Luna. Send us a message, and so yeah, I really want to get that out there, man. I'm looking for somebody, you know. So thank you. Anyway, that's all I've got to say for that part.
Cool. All right, something I want to share with you real quick, Darren.
Yeah.
Eric, and all of you. I noticed over the last 4 or 5 days, and because we're right there in the front lines on my show, we are right there. I'm not saying you guys aren't, but we are out there active in the energies and everything. And when was it? Last night? Was it last night? I blew my socks off how strong the energy was last night in our meditation. Absolutely amazing. I think it was the strongest ever. And I've done this, I'm up to about 500 times now. 470 something, maybe 480 times I've done this meditation. And it's getting stronger. I've noticed it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And then, of course, it backed off a little bit. Just depends on the session and the number of people there. But it was remarkable, because I was thinking yesterday, I was talking to my girlfriend, and I was like, yeah, it just doesn't seem like we're here a lot. And, and people out there on YouTube are saying, oh, this has happened and that's happened. I'm like, nothing's happening. And she goes, wait a second. Haven't you been talking about how the energy has been increasing, every time your sessions have been coming together? And I was like, thank you. Thank you for, thank you for pointing that out to me, because sometimes you get so close to things that you can't see what's happening. And here I was sitting here thinking, I'm waiting for this, to wake up and everything is golden. I'm waiting for that big event, and the event's happening right here in front of me. So my message is, and all that is, sometimes you just have to take a step back and just observe the little things that you take for granted. Because I always I'm like, oh yeah, that's really cool, but I wasn't putting it in the higher context. Yeah, it's cool, whatever, when we have really strong energy. And so even I, sometimes I get too close to it, and I'm all like, oh, I'm really in that moment. I'm present in that moment of all that energy. And then I fail to look at the bigger picture. And I think that's and it's fun. It's fun how these little lessons pop up to us. And it's keeping yourself in that state, that curious state, that seeker state, I think is important, especially, for people like yourself, Darren and Eric, that have been in this a long time, and that's a great message for some of you out there too, is be in that seeker state. So, because I kind of found myself maybe getting out of it a little bit.
No, I mean, along those same lines, like it's been getting closer to a year now that I've kind of been out of the 9-to-5 job,
Mhm.
and I've been doing so much just soul work in the past 9, 10, 12 months, and it's been a lot, but I've been guided now kind of to go back to sort of a standard 9-to-5 in a totally different field. But it's interesting now looking back at like all of the ways that I was in my former career field, and then now kind of what I'm looking at moving forward and how I am compared to even just a year ago. And I mean, like you said, it every single day, it's a slight change that you don't really notice until you look back a month, a year, or 2 years. So
Yeah, but you know what though? Like right now, when I channeled the divine this morning, I can tell you right now that like what they said is it's so accelerated now, like to the point where if we don't do these different things to ground ourselves and center ourselves, our head is gonna like spin. Because it's like so accelerating, and it's only going to keep accelerating. And to your point, I do know exactly what you're talking about, because when I went through challenging times, I didn't really see the improvements. It was really, really hard to see the actual improvements. And sometimes even you can find that with going to the gym, in the beginning. It's like you're going and like you're like, man, like what's going on? It's it can be very, yeah, and but I really truly believe things are shifting, and I was told and I heard that we're going, and like I feel like we're permanently going into the golden era, the golden age, that things are completely shifting in a way that, well, if you have some sort of dark plans or want to do something of that sort, that you're not going to be allowed back here. I think I might have even mentioned it last time, but I definitely feel like humanity's taking this planet back because it's ours, and that we're not going to have to deal with any of the stuff that we've been dealing with. Yet we all came here to experience it now, I think, intentionally, so we could see the massive contrast. But it's shift. I mean, you could just see it if you look on X and stuff like that, and just see the things that are happening so fast because humanity's changing so fast. I just don't think we've seen it fully in the physical yet, like we all want to see it. With a lot of the systems and the everything changing to like crystalline materials and just all this stuff, all this insane, amazing things, like
yeah.
that when Atlantis was,
I have a build on something we spoke about last week. We were talking about the med beds, I think.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
last week, and that some people think that the med beds will not even let you get close to them if you have ill intent or if you're not
Oh, I
ready
heard
or at
that.
a
Yeah.
certain specific
Yeah.
vibrational frequency. Well, I'm a big fan of Jimmy Church Fade to Black. He's a guy that comes on every night, Monday through Thursday. Not every night, but a lot of my crew, the Truth Waivers community, we go to it after my show in the evening. A lot of us hang out there. And he was talking about, or one of his guests was talking about, that you couldn't get into some of the ships or a specific ship that the US government had found if your vibrational frequency was off, because all the engineers there, no offense, Eric, about all the engineers there, all the engineers there, none of them could get in the ship. But then some reporter or someone who was on a good vibrational frequency was able to open it up. And that's how they were able to get inside of it. But or only the reporter was able to get into it because of his vibrational frequency.
That's interesting. Almost like use the person to get them into the ship.
I don't know if they used that person, but that was the only person that could get it. Would open up around that person, where it wouldn't around the engineers that were working on that wanted to be in there.
Yeah.
But the person that was innocuous about the whole thing, just curious, or maybe their vibrational frequency is in the right place because they were there just out of curiosity instead of there to study it or take it apart to learn how it functions. I don't know, but I thought it was an interesting build on our conversation last week.
I love that. And it's like I don't know, man. I really truly believe that the planet has been under control by, whatever type of beings you want to. For thousands of years. I just don't, it just doesn't resonate with me, the imbalances and all the different things. And that we came to learn. Okay, fine. We came to learn, but I understand it's an experimental thing. I understand all of that, but I still think at the end of the day, there is a level of control that has been gone on here, that we're finally realizing it, waking up to it. And that it's going to shift the power of everything, and we literally are going into the golden era, the golden age, all of it. I really truly believe that. It resonates hard with me. Versus
no.
But
I was just going to say, even without like going into like entities and all that stuff, like if you go into the like detailed history of like world events in the past century, like the many hands of Wall Street are connected to basically every world leader, including Lenin, including Mao, including all of the Western governments. And I mean, somebody had a really good statement that if you had the power to control and manipulate world events in your favor or in the favor of a small group of basically friends or people, and you had the means to do so, and you had the money, and you had the desire to do so, why wouldn't you do so?
Yeah.
It makes no sense that you would have all of that available and choose not to do it.
Yeah, yeah, and that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's so many. That's the thing, man. There's so much information, but like, what resonates with you? You know, what
Yeah.
deeply, you know, and I just think that okay, fine. If you on the other side of the coin, it's like, okay, why are we taught lies and all this stuff in schools when we're kids? You know, because it all starts then. You know, why aren't we taught how to breathe properly and all these different things when people know how to do it? You know, how to regulate the nervous system, all this stuff. People how to eat healthier. Like people know this stuff. There's so many people walking around that know all of this stuff, but it's not taught in the school systems. You know, where it all starts. So it's like then you got to wonder and question. You know, something's not right. You know, and it's not just about us coming here to learn. Because why isn't that a thing? We still are going to learn, you know what I mean? But we're going to learn in a better way, in a healthier way, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to learn, and we still are going to learn, but why do we have to learn in that way? Why are we taught separation, you know? Divide from one another, you know? Like, there's like a million different religions, and there's all this stuff that creates divide and separation, you know? When there is books out there that talk about oneness, like the law of one, and you know what I'm saying? So you got to wonder and question everything, man, because there's a lot of things out there that are being fed that are false, and I don't agree with, you know, and I think that there is a big level of control happening and has been happening, you know, but again, I'm open to everything, you know, that's why we're here, and I'm not like stuck on one thing ever. I have a very open mind, you know.
Hi, did you guys see the question from Teresa, Wounds to Wisdom? And if you're not sub to Teresa, please go sub to her right now. Wounds to Wisdom. She writes, are any of you familiar with Jason Shirka and the light systems, which are similar to med beds? He has a unique perspective of what is happening now and healing. Either one of you two have any information on that?
I know exactly what Shirka is, and I know the lights. Yeah, I actually started following him years and years ago, and I actually joined when he tried to start Unified Social, and he was going to change. What was that? Did we get disconnected or something?
No, I'm still connected.
Okay, because it says like a yellow thing, connection lost or something. I don't know. He started a thing called Unified Social, and he was trying to create this to like basically replace Facebook, so to speak. And I joined it when it first came out, and I was paying like with the $5 or whatever he was asking for, and then it was like free at one point. And it was really cool, man. I met actually the guy that I did a podcast with for like over a year, and we became really close friends, and I met some other people on there, and it was really cool. But it kind of turned into he changed it from like $5. This is the crazy part about it. He changed it from you paying $5 to free, and then all these trolls came on there, and it destroyed the whole thing. So when it was actually a paid subscription, like of the $5, it was really beautiful. It was you could feel the energy was so different than Facebook, you know. So that's where I started. I learned from him, and then he created Unified TV. It's kind of like Gaia TV, and then he was talking about the light system, and he has a guy named Ray who he has like a hood and comes out. He doesn't want to disclose who he is, but he's a part of the light system. And they're apparently very similar to like the Galactic Federation and some of these other organizations. There's guys in the organization that supposedly are like 400 years old, and you know they can levitate and do all kinds of different things. And I used his EE systems at different places, and it's amazing. It's scalar wave technology they use. It balances your body back to harmony and balance, but you still have to take care of yourself. You can't just go in there and, eat crap and not take care of yourself, and then go in there and expect that it's just going to stay that way. But it's not like a med bed. It does take time. You got to use it a lot. And I don't know. I mean, I've heard people have healed from, I don't want to say the words, on here. So, some of the big C's and stuff like that,
Mhm.
But yeah, I know about him, and I've followed him for quite a long time. And yeah, he puts out a lot of information on his YouTube channel and on his Unified TV. I actually won a free lifetime membership to his platform.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I was like in a raffle or something like that, and he picked me, and I have like access to his Unified TV for life, basically. But yeah, he has a lot of people on there, man. Ishmael has series on there. The guy I've told you guys about. He's pretty well known, man. You can check him out. Again, there's certain things I resonate with and other things I don't.
That's
You
like anything, though.
Yeah, and you gotta wonder, like, a lot of these people too, like, that start getting bigger and bigger, if they're infiltrated or not. At some point, we're still at that point, but I do feel like a lot of the dark has left the planet, and now it's just we're catching up to everything, and it's only a matter of time that everything comes out this year.
Well, and also I think we're getting into that, you said infiltration, but I think we're getting into that like attracts like now. 'Cause like in
Yes.
my community,
Yes.
somebody, I mean, people cannot help themselves if they're not in your frequency or even close or even overlapping a little bit. They're going to show their ass, excuse my language. They're going to show it in chat. Yeah, and half the people here from my channel have seen it before. I had a fellow that used to be very active come in, and you see the energy. You see the energy from that person exuding out because it's not in the flow. It's not in the flow of things. So I think right now we're really getting into that time of like attracts like attracts like. And you get some trolls occasionally, but I don't think I've ever had one person come in and just really come in and really try to disrupt stuff. And it's only been it's just gentle pushes here and there. But I like to think
I had
that's
that last
because
year. Not as much this year, but last year I had a lot of that. And what was so funny about it was they came in trying to troll me and would say something, but then they would say, "Oh, you're too nice, I can't troll you." And then they would end up subscribing.
oh, cool. Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, I was able to, like, actually, like, turn them, like, they came in and I turned them from, like, being, it was really funny and interesting, and then they were like this long time subscriber, and they'd be in the chat, and there's a lot of them that are still, and
That's cool.
they're like, "Oh, you're too nice, man. I can't do that," So yeah, I had that happen too. But last year, yeah, I was getting a lot of trolls, man. But you know what? It just reminded me and showed me that I don't really care what any of them say. It did not faze me one bit.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it I didn't feel like, oh, they'd make fun of me or something like that, and it just didn't even bother me one bit. I was like, okay, so that's cool too to experience that. But I agree with you, man. I think that, and what I've been hearing as well is that, there's going to be only a few timelines left, and the ones that aren't of love and service are going to just leave. They're not going to be on the positive timeline, they're going to be on the negative dystopian timeline, and so I just really believe we're finally taking this planet back, and we're it's going to be beautiful. I just see visions of it. I truly believe that, what do you resonate with though? Like, how do you feel about, if there is, because it goes back to, like, I hear people always say, like, you are me and I am you, and everything's an illusion, and, all these different things. And then yes, I believe that we all came from source, but I believe we broke off and we're different. We have different backgrounds and we've come from different planets, and you know what I'm saying? Even though we may have came from source at one point, but I feel like it's just like you coming from your mother, you know, having you as a baby, you know, same kind of similar thing, you know, but then everybody's has like I don't know. It's so I love to deep dive into this, you know.
I'm not sure what you just asked me. Did you ask me or
Yeah.
did you ask Eric?
Well, because like, okay, let me rephrase it then, because a lot of people
Please.
talk about, you know, like, um, um, I'm really like, okay, this could be a little bit deep, all right? But a lot of people talk about, you know, like you're not really talking. I'm not really talking to you. I'm really talking to myself, you know, and like, there's no one really there but you, and you just drew these people in, you know, but they're not really there. I don't know if anybody in the chat has experienced any of this. It gets really deep though, you know. So it trips me up when I hear, you know, I don't know, maybe Eric, you've heard this type of where it goes to this type of depth, you know, which can really mess with you, you know, like, oh, you're really alone on this planet. There's not really anybody else. It's all an illusion. I've heard Deepak Chopra talk about it years and years back. I don't know that I fully resonate with it. And that's where I go to, like, there's control on the planet, but then, you know, I don't know if I'm explaining it properly or not. I might not.
I think I can kind of go into it. Sort of like, I don't know if either of you or any of you have like lucid dreamed, and how like all the other people or things you see in there are part of your consciousness, but it's there as a kind of like sandbox so that you can get different experiences. That's what reality is at a very, very deep level. Is it's all the same consciousness, but you're choosing to see it from a very limited perspective of the self. So I do agree. There's different layers. So at different layers, at very, very deep layers, all of this is technically an illusion. This is all set up. This is a giant sandbox, but we're using it to understand ourselves and understand each other as we are in very limited perspectives. But that doesn't mean that, you know, the dream isn't as real as you want it to be. It isn't as it doesn't mean that the lessons learned aren't impactful. It doesn't mean that the interactions, the people, what happens physically, what happens in the world doesn't matter. It just means that it goes into kind of like the four agreements.
Yeah.
If you've read that, where like just try not to take things personally, because everybody else is swimming with their own mind and all these different cages and ideas and their entire lives swimming in their own heads. They not most people aren't conscious to how they affect others. And so as people who are awakened, you can't really take things personally, because everybody else is swimming in their own oceans, in their own minds. And the other point is you're here to have fun. So as many ways as possible, just try and find ways to make the darkness fun.
Well, you know, and Catherine, excuse me, just posted something about Andy Weir's story, The Egg. I was about to go into this actually.
Yeah.
That we are a god, one god, who are split off into billions of different experiences, which is fun to think about. That's fun to think about. And something else I brought up, I had a discussion about the other day, are the people that just come and have fun, you know, the person, the party animals, the this or the that, and they're completely blinded, and they are very regimented. They go do their job, and then they come home and they sit in front of the televised vision, as our brother Josh would say, and then they do this and do this and do this, but no expansion there as we would look at it. But are they actually the ones having the best experience? You follow me? You see, because they're in their blinders and they're having their very base experiences. And we know what base experiences are compared to a spiritual experience or a higher experience. And this is no not any kind of downgrade or disregard for people that live that way. I'm not, they're having their experience, and I'm not judging them. I'm just simply saying, or asking that question, are they having a better are they maximizing their experience? Because in a sense, as we ask these questions and we get out there and explore, because you guys, I've done a lot of exploration out there, as you guys have, and as most of the people here have. Okay, so but we're out there exploring and exploring. Are we, in a sense, cheating ourselves from having a is this, are we cheating ourselves from just having that 100%, to your point, Eric, enjoyable experience? Are those people having a better experience because they're out there enjoying it, and just maximizing their space, in a sense,
But
and
how
their ignorance, as we would say it, in their spiritual ignorance? Are they better off without having that spiritual knowledge? Bang, there you go. That's what I was trying to get to.
and then how can you really ignore it once you've woken up and you start questioning everything versus, and I've also heard through like the likes like Dolores Cannon speaking of, well, some people that don't choose to, and they're just here having a blast. They're taking a break because they had many other hard lives. That now they get to come and just, like what you just explained, kind of not really being awake to it. But I feel like that's changing because I feel like everybody's going to wake up. Everyone on the planet will be awake. And not to mention, there's another caveat to that, because a lot of people say that those are NPCs. They're not non-player characters. So they're like kind of like soulless, basically. They're just like a fill-in, essentially, to fill in the game so it actually can be an actual game. Because without all those little trinkets and parts, how can you have how could you come down here and have an actual experience, so there's so many, that's the crazy part, man. There's so many
Angles.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, and then but then I know what it felt like, and I'm sure you guys did too, when you weren't awake and things are happening and you don't even know why they're happening. And now you're awake and aware to the things that are happening. And doesn't it feel more grounding and more better that way than being more in the dark and confused and, oh, I don't know why I just had like a dark night of the soul, but you didn't even know what a dark night of the soul was, and you're just searching and searching for information and nobody can give you answers. Because I remember that in the 2015, 2010, like when I hit different rock bottoms and there was no information out there whatsoever, and you're trying to get information,
Well, we are where we are supposed to be. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the way I like to remind myself, is we're exactly where we are supposed to be at this point in time. And it may not seem like that we're on the exact right path or something like that, but no, we're where we signed up to be. We are having this discussion because we signed up, beforehand, that we would come together. And some people say, oh, well, not even God can put that much detail in a person's life. Well, the thing is if you can create this matrix or create this simulation or whatever we're existing in, then of course you could prime it to the minute, to the second. And why wouldn't you? If you're this omni-intelligent, all knowledgeable being that comes down here and takes on these incarnations to have experiences. Because and I had a discussion about this a couple of years ago, and the person I was discussing with couldn't get their head around, well, yeah, but I'm still I'm growing spiritually. I was like, wait a second, but what I'm talking about is take it a step higher. That spiritual growth that you're experiencing is part of your experience, and it's irrelevant whenever you get higher out. You follow me? If you get up high enough in your experience, or when we come down here to have these experiences, really, your spiritual growth in this iteration probably has zero actual. It's almost like you're attaining something that you have automatically outside in your highest form. Am I going in circles here? You guys tracking?
No, I'm completely getting it. But what?
Here, come forward, Darren.
what if you take it a step further and we're all God in human form, creating
Sure.
our reality, but we just forgot, and we're now beginning to, because we chose to forget, but now it's changing to where we're actually remembering more and more and more, and as these different things like the solar flashes and all these different things are going to wake up all of this within us to remember how powerful we are. But a lot of people again can't accept that, because of the religious connotations and
But that's their experience, though. That is
yes,
their experience that they signed up to have.
yeah, but could that all be changing, because of the shift, that the awakening process and the shift that's happening to the point where that's all I feel like is going to fall away. As more and more people question everything, and the things of religion come out that, what it's all been manipulated. And well, I don't know if I should be saying all this on here.
Hey, Lioness, thank you. Excuse me for a second, gentlemen. Lioness, thank you so much for coming by. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah,
Something I want to add on there. So think about it, gents. Think about it this way: is if in 1 week's time you knew that X, Y, and Z was going to happen, all right, would you rather know it was going to happen right now than all these, say, 5 really cool things that you really, really, really want, like your schools and everything explodes and you have 1 million followers and you know it's going to happen by next Friday? All right. Would you rather know it's going to happen, or would you rather experience it? And if knowing for sure that it was going to happen, absolutely positive, I'm not talking about just positive reinforcement. I'm talking about you get a leak, you get some data from your overall plan to come down here for this incarnation, and it's going to happen by Friday. Doesn't that kind of invalidate the experience? Wouldn't you rather experience that next week instead of just jumping to it?
Yeah, and then sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes though I'm like, I want to know everything. Like, why am I not getting more clarity? Like, I want more clarity.
You got to lean forward, brother.
But again, that's the ego wanting the roadmap to everything, like, because then the ego is more comfortable if it knows everything,
Yeah. Yeah, you have it right there.
This was what she said is like, is pretty good of an explanation, again, it gets really confusing with the control that's here and the things that have been happening, and I think,
and that's where quite honestly, like, wouldn't one of the best surprises being, like, just one of the best surprises you could ever experience is experiencing how all of that control and all of that just disappears.
yeah,
Wouldn't that be the best the best experience you could ever really have?
oh my God, yeah, and enter the gates of the golden era, the golden age, where all the magic is. Yes, I've been seeing visions since I was a little kid,
And look at how much just in our lifetimes. I don't know exactly how old you are, Eric, but I'm pretty sure you're younger than me. I know Darren's younger than me. And
Yes.
think about how things, even in your lifetime, Eric, has changed. Think about the drastic, and I don't mean just technology. I'm talking about everything, even the way we interact. And you see certain things happening now almost every other day or something. There's some shocking news thing to get people riled up, but you notice that those are even starting to become less and less frequent, less and less frequent, less and less frequent. And we're going to jam something out there because the powers that be, the light is growing around our planet. All right. The light is growing, and people are tired of the old ways, absolutely fed up to their freaking necks with all the nonsense. And people are seeing through it. It's kind of like that new Origin launch. I don't know if you guys are space people, but I watch almost every launch that I can watch. And a celebrity crew went up a couple days ago. I don't know if you saw any of that, but now they're coming out and saying, hey, it might have been complete CGI and all this other stuff.
Don't even tell me you're talking. Are you talking about Katy Perry and
That
oh
one.
my God, I
Yeah.
just heard on Ishmael's show from last night. He said all these people wrote in the chat on the live. They said it was fake. It was not real. It was. They didn't even go up into actual space. They stopped right
Well, the
before.
Karman line though is actual technically space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, everybody in the chat said it was totally fake. That I don't know. You know, I don't even know it even happened.
Well,
I
the
can't.
thing is, it looked like a normal launch. I watched it live, but the big bad part, I guess, the fake part was when they were about to take everyone out, because it came down and did a parachute landing in the desert, which was cool. And then when Jeff Bezos gets out there with his little tool to open the door, the pressure door that opened inward instead of outward. And we have an aerospace engineer literally sitting here listening to me right now, so he can add on to that. But the thing is the door opens while Jeff is not ready yet. The cameras aren't ready, but you see the door open, and a lady runs over and says no, and then the door shuts, and then Jeff goes over and touches it with this tool, and then it comes inward, but it's like flapping, and it looks very flimsy, and it doesn't even look like it would be. I'll tell you what, if I was going to go up in that and pay $1.5 million to take that ride, I'd want a freaking thick pressure door. All right, Eric.
Yeah, no, I will say it was really interesting. We have the one of the conservatories or the museums of science and industry in Chicago here, and they have a room for space exploration stuff. If you look at the capsule, like the Mercury capsules and the capsules from like the Apollo programs and all that versus the SpaceX capsule, like the materials used are so different, and it's like I wouldn't trust the cheap stuff that they're using in like private industry versus like the actual stuff that is way over engineered on the government side of things. So no, I totally agree.
So it's a composite thing. They can make things a lot thinner and lighter, and
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you both think it was real, or do you think that it was all a hoax?
You want to go first, Eric?
I would personally have to see it. I haven't watched it that closely, but it honestly wouldn't surprise me of having followed like you kind of all this stuff for decades now, and I have classmates who now work at Blue Origin and classmates that work former classmates that work at SpaceX. Right now, I personally wouldn't trust a Blue Origin rocket. That's just me. I wouldn't personally go up in a Blue Origin capsule. Again, just me. But I would also be hard pressed to go up in a SpaceX capsule, let alone anything that's not like Russian government or U.S. NASA government as it is. So that, again, that's just me. It very well could be a fake. I haven't seen it, so I'm not 100% sure, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I think that. Go ahead, Darren.
No, go ahead. You saw it, so
I think the big argument is they didn't show anything from the inside during the launch. And the last time they did, I think even when William Shatner went up last year or the year before, they showed all the interior footage. And there's some scenes, if you just watch there's an actual video out there on X that you can watch the whole thing. And some of the cutaway shots, you see somebody reviewing it and they're saying, oh, that's CGI. That's CGI. Oh no, that's this. And the whole door thing at the end was really probably the big catcher, because the door opens up from the inside. Somebody's in there fiddling with it and opening the door, and they're like, oh no, they run over and shut it. That's the clip you'll be able to find. But where all this goes is why would they fake it and do that? To what end? And see, that's that bigger picture thing, is why, if it is fake, all right, I hope it's not. Because I would love to do that. I think it would be awesome to go up and be weightless, go up to the Karman line and come back. Heck, I would do that. Shoot, yeah, do it in a minute. But if it's fake, what's the purpose? Now we're getting into conspiracy. What is the purpose? Is it just bread and circuses to keep that set of people entertained? You know, the people that are follow all the Hollywood glam and this and that, or is it just Bezos's folly to show, hey, look what I can do, and I can do this and do that and shoot a big, enormous member into space, because
Yeah,
that's
but
kind of
you
what
know
it
what
looks like.
though? You know what though? It could be part of like also, oh well, look at I'm spending this money on, like the whole thing, like to raise more money and and whatever else, and really, it's not. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I was shown when I went to the Akashic Records. They showed me just like
Ooh.
the Titanic. Many years ago, they showed me with the. Okay, somebody brought up the submarine. I just want to mention this real quick, okay? Because I was shown that where you at, and no offense to anybody, or if you know somebody that was on that submarine or whatever, but this is what I was shown, okay? They showed me the Titanic and the making of the Titanic, okay? And I remember seeing the making of the Titanic where it was like they had this boat, this little miniature sized model dollhouse boat inside of a big pool. But yet on the Hollywood screen, it looked like this big ship going down. It was so massive on screen. And they said Hollywood can make anything look real.
Including moon landings.
Yeah, and so the reason that I'm bringing this up is because somebody said the submarine, right? And at the time when I was going into people's Akashic records and they were going in mine, a woman, it had, the submarine thing had happened right then, and we went in and she had questions about it, and I literally was shown the Titanic situation, meaning that if you didn't personally know those people that were in the submarine and you aren't physically there, how do you even know it's real? Okay, and that's when I was shown the Titanic stuff, that Hollywood can make anything look real, the news, whatever. Do you really know the people personally? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like almost to jerk your strings, to get you in fear or connected to emotions with it all,
Sure. Maybe it's a way for you and your son, and being a billionaire and your son, to hide from the cabal. I'm going to fake my death.
Yeah.
So what's saying they didn't dock with some other submarine down there and then send the one that ended up coming apart deeper, and then meanwhile those guys are off, or with scuba tanks or whatever. They just did a little lockout procedure. It's not that difficult, and you go and hide.
Yeah.
And there's your conspiracy side of it.
Yes.
They just assume different. They have all their money, and they just assume different lives.
Yeah. No, and I mean, to your point, Darren, there's I haven't watched it, but my mom told me about, there's an old movie where they literally drum up this big war purely for the media, purely in the US. They drum up this fake war. They drum up all these different fake scenes. They shoot all this stuff. What's up?
Yeah, Billy just put it in there. Wag the dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's all for show. It's not real, but nobody can verify it because they're not traveling to whatever part of the world it's in, and you can't get enough media attention off of the media to state that it's not actually happening.
You know how many times when I was going into the Akashic Records like weekly with people's records that I was told the same thing over and over again, that you don't know these individuals personally. You weren't at the scene when it actually happened or whatever happened. Yeah. I'm not really talking about the submarine thing, so that anything could be, like I said, we've seen it with the Titanic. I saw the making of that thing way back, and I'm like, oh my God, it was like this swimming pool that they built inside of like a movie studio, and they put like just a dollhouse type size ship, but it looked so freaking real and huge and massive, and so yeah, it's like that's what I kept hearing over and over again, like the things that are happening overseas, the things that anything can be made, especially nowadays with CGI and all the stuff that's available, even more than even before. But I guess, people were having a lot of questions with that in the collective, and it was coming up more and more. And I'm like, yo, you weren't there. You don't know if those people, from what I get, it was all set up. It didn't even actually really even happen. Because at the end of the day, man, remember this: that a lot of these things that are happening, they're meant to distract us, away from what they're actually really doing.
Yeah, Heaney mentioned that.
Yeah, if they can get our attention away from what they're actually doing, then they've succeeded. So focus on the Katy Perry thing. Let's bring Katy Perry up there because she's this big celebrity, that everybody idolizes, and it's going to get everybody's attention away,
And she has this big message of love when she comes out and kisses the ground in a very dramatic way, and then says, "Oh, it's just all about love. I just realized when I was up there how important love is," and blah blah. Blah. Great message. It just seemed a little bit more like I'd be like, "Whoa, man, that was freaking awesome." Yeah, that's the way I would be. But she goes, I just had this moment of love. And I think it's a great message, sure. But I just don't think it's the appropriate.
Genuine.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't genuine. Hard to say because I can't discount someone's message of love. I'm not going to do that because at least maybe the people, and maybe that's part of it, is she sends this unusual timing for this message of love, but maybe she's out there saying it to the people that need to hear it, because we hear it all the time in our circles. We talk about love all the time, but then maybe she getting this exposure is getting it to people that need to hear it.
Yeah, and then you could take it a step further and say, well, it could be a CLONE too, right? I mean, both of them.
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about?
Like I didn't want to say it on, speak the word out. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be
my eye.
It could. They both could have been. And the real ones weren't actually on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of things.
Shoot.
People are saying this was really cool right here. What Catherine said. I'm grappling with the idea that we actually live forever. Which, hey, like I said, Jason Shurka knows this rabbi that's in the light system that is like 400 or 600 years old. I believe we actually can live probably forever, and the fifth dimension and the fourth dimension where you can go back and forth, and you're able to do these things. Whereas right now we just don't remember anything of that sort.
It's true. Well, gents, it's 13:33 for me.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna have to go.
Thank you so much. No, it's good, man. We're good. It was awesome. I love this, man. This was cool as hell. It gets better and better. Deep dive these things. I love it. This was awesome. Thank you guys, man. Again, you guys rock.
Hey, so do you guys. Hey, I'll see you guys next week. Until then.
Sending
all of you. Love you all.
Love and light.
Thanks for joining, everyone.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Love you all, man.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Peace.